What's up, peeps? Nick Battle, aka Ninos Corner, man. First off, if you like this content that is coming your way, hit that subscribe button. It means a ton, helps me grow the channel a lot. Also, folks, hit that bell, get every notification from this channel. And also, if you're listening to this in the podcast and not YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, share, or this Apple Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher Breaker, the whole nine. Anywhere there's a streaming podcast platform, you will see the Ninos Corner podcast. But today, folks, we're going to go over a quick game recap with the NCN metrics, which is the actual Ninos Corner number of Texas versus UTSA. But first off, prior to us getting into those metrics, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors. So, folks, our first sponsor is BetUS. So go to betus.com. Use the promo code NinosCorner and get 125% sign-up bonus. Again, folks, that's free money that you can use to be, putting bets on like the Canelo versus Triple G fight this past weekend, all the college football games, Texas covered the spread. You could have made some money on that. It's free money, folks. Go up there to betus.com, promo code Ninos Corner, or just go in the description. Just click that link and you're good to go, folks. Also, second sponsor, folks, is Manscaped. So, folks, go to manscaped.com, get the actual 20% off and free worldwide shipping using the code Ninos Corner, again at manscaped.com. 20% off and free worldwide shipping using the code Ninos Corner at manscaped.com. So, folks, today we're going to talk about just a quick recap of Texas versus UTSA. Jeff Traylor had his guys ready to play. Frank Harris being their really good quarterback. Man, if he had an arm, like a really, really good arm, he'd be a hell of a prospect, folks, for the pros. But he was a really good player. Definitely could use his legs. He was electric. However, Texas did very good in this game by adjusting. Their second half adjustments were really good. Previously last year, maybe like a year prior to that, once we got leads or were tied going into halftime to teams that were lesser talented than Texas, we kind of folded. But this team really rallied, did great things after halftime, only allowed 3 additional points after halftime, and scored an additional, how many points was that? They went from 17 to 41, right? So that is 24 points. So Texas won the second half battle 24-3. So kudos to the Texas defense and the Texas offense for doing their thing. One thing that the Texas defense did, and we'll actually talk about here once we see the metrics, they only allowed 2 explosive plays, meaning on a run play, a play that was 15 yards or more, and on a pass play, a play that was 20 yards or more. So they only allowed 2 for the entire game. But I think that was by design by UTSA. I think they saw exactly what Bryce Young did against Texas in that closing drive, for Alabama to actually beat Texas at DKR. Basically going empty, using a lot of dinks and dunks to get lesser yardage, but to continue to move the chain. And I think we saw that on UTSA's first drive, with that drive being 20 real plays, 22 plays in total with those 2 penalties, but 20 plays that actually counted toward the box score count. So really good game plan by Jeff Traylor. But they were hurt, as well. Their offensive line wasn't healthy. Our defensive line was healthy, and I think that was the difference there on the defensive side of the ball here for Texas. Our offense, was manned and led by Hudson Card. There's a lot of talk. Would it be Hudson Card? Would it be Charles Wright? So we saw Hudson Card do his thing, and I think his biggest play didn't come from his arm this weekend. His biggest play came from that 32 or was it 33-yard run on a second down. I think a 2nd and 22 or a 2nd and 21, but he actually ran the ball for over 30 yards. And we know that is something that Hudson Card can do. He was a wide receiver when he was at Lake Travis. A lot of, folks like to forget that. And he actually didn't play quarterback, folks, until I think his junior year. So you're looking at a guy who's still getting like the nuances of playing quarterback. And he did a outstanding job of actually manning this team and leading them to the win. Great production from the running backs as well, and we'll get into that as well. Bijan, another great game, 20 carries, I think 182 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 for 78 yards, 1 for 41 yards. So he had the explosive play nature in him as well. And Rojo, what can you say about Rojo, man? Rojo's awesome. And we'll also talk about the jumbo package. Sark has been using the jumbo package these first 3 games, and that jumbo package is using the backup tackle, Andre Carrick, as a second tight end. Texas used that a lot this game. I think they used it 16 times this game, which was 3 or 4 plays less than what they used combined over the first 2 games. So he's starting to incorporate that. And the last game, it was more for pass protection against Will Anderson and Dallas Turner. This game, it was more for running. Out of those 16 plays, Sark used the jumbo package 15 times for the run and 1 time for the pass. And we'll get into that as well. But yeah, folks, let's just go ahead and get into those metrics, man. Let's just talk about just the game in general. So let's just share the screen here, folks, and get into the stats. All right, folks. So what we got here? We have Texas. Let's see, Texas here. All right. Let's go up. So this is game 3. Game 3 here. Like I said, UTSA really took advantage, had longer play drives here. They had a 13-minute time of possession lead against Texas, if I'm not mistaken. And that showed here, folks, in the total plays. So UTSA had 83 total plays of offense. Texas had 58. So folks, that is 25 more plays. They were, a more balanced team. 51% pass. Oh, I'm sorry, run. 49% pass. Texas was more pass heavy. Well, I'm sorry, more run heavy today, at 60% and actual 40% here for the pass. Once you go and look at the successful plays, folks, in the running game, UTSA was very successful as well. 16 plays successful when it comes to the running game. Just the same amount as Texas, even though Texas ran the ball more frequently. So from the passing game side of the house, UTSA was successful 21 times. And Texas at 11 times. So they were successful 21 times out of 41 times. So, roughly, guys, a 51% SPR pass for UTSA. Texas, we were 11 times out of 23 times. So about a 48% SPR for pass. Now, at the running rate, Texas with that 16 SPs, we were 16 out of 35 for a SPR, which is a successful play rate of 45.71%. And UTSA, like we said before, 16 plays as well, successful, but they ran about 42 times, so about 38%, folks. But it's pretty matched evenly for the SPR total for the game. Texas had 46.5, so let's say 47%, and 45% there for UTSA. Explosive plays, folks. Now, we talked about the explosive plays. So honestly, UTSA had 2 explosive plays only in the passing game, and Texas had 7 total, 6 in the run and 1 in the pass. If you'd have told me about the explosive plays, I would have thought that Frank Harris would have had, some pretty explosive plays running the ball. So Texas kind of neutralized that, which is really good to see. So, like I said, they didn't have a lot of explosive plays. Texas kind of contained that, and they actually dinked and dunked just like Bryce Young did there on that last 2-minute drive against Texas. Now, folks, if you go and look into, I won't go into the NCN numbers. You guys can go to the websites and see those. But from the offensive side of the ball, just a quick synopsis. Texas had a 61.59 NCN offense, and that was mainly due just from that outstanding running game that Texas had. And they had a pretty penalty-free game as well. Only 4 penalties for the offensive side of the ball. And for the opponent offense, their NCN number was a 41.24. So look, folks, the NCN number tracks your efficiency and your effectiveness of an offense or defense. So this is the offense side of the ball over the entire game. Average score is around 45 points. So Texas bested that. They were an above average offense for this game, and UTSA was a little bit below average. All right. So folks, for the NCN defense, Texas had a 53.09. The average again is 45 points. So they were slightly above average, and the defense for UTSA had a 23, so they were way below average. Texas kind of did what they wanted to in the second half, and it truly changed things around for the game. So, folks, if you look at the, let's take a look at what I really want to get into, folks, is I want to talk about successful plays. We talked about that. We talked about explosive plays already and how Texas had 7 out of the 58 plays, and that means that over 12% of their plays were explosive plays in nature. They had 240 XP yards, right? So explosive play yards, Texas had 240. So that was roughly 52.29% of their total yardage. And that's kind of been a consistent theme here for Texas. It's around the 40 to 50% range of their yards are going to come from explosive plays, folks. Explosive plays, like I said, running plays that are 15 yards or more, passing plays that are 20 yards or more. For the opponents, for like UTSA as a whole, UTSA folks, they only had 59 yards total of explosive play yards. That was only 14% of their total yardage. So 59 yards total out of around 409 yards, only 2 out of 83 plays. Only 2% of their plays were explosive plays. Only 14% of their yards were explosive play yards. Texas did a good job of containing and not getting beat deep. The only one that was a little alarming was when Jamison came in on his first play. You can tell he was still a little hobbled by his ankle, but the guy got behind him for a touchdown. Luckily, it was a penalty. And, Sark even said in his press conference, he kind of had to come down and settle him down and tell him, hey, this is your game, do your thing. And he played an outstanding game after that. So third down metrics, folks. This is the one that really gets me. Third down metrics. Texas has not been the best in third down metrics this year. So if we take a look, third and short, I got third and short, 6 plays, third and short. And they were successful, folks, 4 out of those 6 times for 67% successful play rate. And all 4 of those third and shorts that were successful were in the run game. Okay, they didn't pass at all out of third and short. They ran in third and short, and they were successful 67%, so 4 out of 6 times. Now, what's alarming still, folks, is third and long. Third and long, we had 3 third and longs. None of those third and longs were successful. And I think for the season here, for Texas folks, for the season, we're 0-12 on third and longs. And those third and longs are any third downs that are 7 yards or more. So we are 0% on third and longs. We got to get better on that. We got to short that up. We have to short it up to be a team that can compete for a Big 12 championship. But honestly, I think this game plan was very vanilla. Once we did have third and longs, we did a lot of screens and things of that nature. But we got to be able to convert those third and longs to assure that we can make it to Big 12 championship week and continue to play at this high of a level. Looking at third and short for the opponent, they had 7 third and shorts. And they were successful 5 out of those 7 times, folks. So third and shorts, folks, are 3 yards or less. And they ran the ball 5 out of those 7 times and passed it 2 out of those 7. So they were unsuccessful on third and short, passing the ball both times, and successful 4 out of those 5 times. Well, I'm sorry, they were successful 1 out of those 2 times on third and short and passing, and successful 4 out of those 5 times on third and short running the ball. Now, they would have been successful third and short passing the ball 2 out of 2, but the wide receiver dropped the ball. No, I'm sorry, that was 4th down. So excuse me on that one. Never mind. Third and long. 6 third and longs for the offense, for the opponent. They were successful 2 times, one running the ball, and actually both passing the ball. They were 0 for 1 on third and long running, and 2 out of 5 on third and long passing. So Texas, one thing Texas has to do, we got to shore up the third and long. We got to shore up the third and long, start converting some of those, because once you get tougher competition, that can definitely be a problem. Now, it definitely will be a problem. That was one of our actual Achilles heels last year, was converting the third and longs. We got to get better. We got to scheme better. Got to take better advantage and make better adjustments here going forward. So let's take a look at the personnel packages, folks. We had 28 plays. I got 35 run plays. I got 23 passing plays. And here are all the formations, folks. We didn't use 0, so empty. We used 10 personnel 8 times. So 10 personnel, guys, is 1 running back, no tight ends. 1 running back, 1 tight end is 11 personnel, pretty even. 9 run plays, 9 pass plays, 18 total plays. 12 personnel was our package that we actually used the most. 20 run plays, 2 pass plays out of 12 personnel. So for a total of 22 plays. And out of those 22 plays, you look here at the jumbo, which was using Andre Carrick as the second tight end. We used him. He was the second tight end 16 out of those 22 plays in 12 personnel. So we're using Andre Carrick a lot more. In this game, it was more for the run. In the previous game against Alabama, we used him more for extra pass coverage, to basically fend off Will Anderson and Dallas Turner. This game, it was to open up the running lanes. And if you look at, I put something on my Twitter page there. where Rojo had a run off of the right tackle, and Christian Jones basically blocked somebody 5 yards, and JT Sanders had an initial block on the defensive end, and then he carries it on to the second level to a defensive back, gets him out of bounds, and he drives him, probably 7 or 8 yards off the line of scrimmage. And then Andre Carrick, you see him, he drives the defensive end, literally, folks, 10 yards down the field, pancakes him at the 30-yard line, and Rojo's still running. I think Rojo had a big run for like probably 25 or 30 yards. So you see exactly how effective that jumbo package in the 12 personnel can be if used right and just actually correctly. So it's something that can be used and be utilized. Sark said in his opening day press conference that Andre Carrick is kind of that Swiss Army knife, one of the more versatile folks. Having a guy like Kelvin Banks Jr. come in and take over that left tackle position gives him the freedom to move around Andre Carrick, and he can be a guy that can plug and play. So I said he's one of our most important offensive linemen here, because not only is he the swing guy that comes in if a Carrick gets hurt or somebody, he knows pretty much every position on that line except center, but he's a guy that comes in for our jumbo packages. So we use two back personnel, 20 personnel, 21 and 22 personnel. We use them a total of 8 times this game, and we were pretty successful in those 8 times. So in 20 personnel, we were successful 50% of the time. So 1 or 2. 21 personnel, we were successful 4 out of 6 plays, folks. So 67%, which is great. And 22 personnel, we didn't use. One thing I will say, 30 personnel, Rollcat personnel, Wildcat personnel. We used that, I think, twice this game. We're successful both times. Rojo had 2 good runs, I think both off of the right tackle as well. Shout out to Christian Jones. He's having a hell of a season. So, so this is just a breakdown. We use a lot of different, like combinations here, folks. We use 10, we use 11, we use 12, we used 20, we use 21, and we used a Wildcat there. We use 6 different personnel packages. And if you count the jumbo, which I count into the 12 personnel, you can say jumbo is the 7th one. All right. So we use 7 different, personnel combinations. Sark got very creative here when it came to calling plays and dialing up formations for us to have a successful game plan here. Great adjustments in the second half. I think that the team responded very well here in the second half. So if you take a look at the SPR pass, so the successful play rate, folks, when it comes to passing, was 48% for the entire game. The SPR for run was 46% for the SPR for run. The SPR total, folks, 0.47. So 47% successful play rate overall for the game. Very similar to the opponent. The opponent, 45% SPR total for the entire game, 51% in the pass, 38% in the run. We already kind of talked about that. They ran the majority of their plays. When you take a look, they ran a lot of 11 personnel, a lot of 11 and a lot of 10 personnel, right? And they were successful in that 11 and 10 personnel. Let's say 11 personnel in the running game, they were successful 32% of the time. So having that extra tight end, and I think they had the big boy Cardenas, who was a monster. They used him pretty well in an opening script. He caught the ball well. He blocked very well as well. He had a 4th and 1 conversion, if I'm not mistaken, where he came in from the left side and took the snap under center and actually ran for a first down. But the SPR run was 32% out of the 11 personnel, but their passing was, they had an SPR of 47% out of 11 personnel. But total SPR total out of that group, which is their most heavily used group, 11 personnel, was 39%. Now, 10 personnel, I think, is where they kind of dice us up a little bit, and they kind of use this with the same notion that what, like I said, Alabama used. So in 10 personnel, they had 12 pass plays, 12 run plays. They were successful 11 times out of those 24, 5 in the running game, 6 in the passing game. So 42% successful play rate in the run, 50% successful play rate in the pass, and a total successful play rate of 46%. Now, their most successful formation was empty, and they used empty quite a bit. I think in the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken, they used it quite a bit, I think in the 3rd or 4th quarter. But they had 15 plays with 8 successful plays, a total SPR, successful play rate of 53%, 60% in the pass, 40% in the run, folks, but 53% SPR total for the entire game. So that was their most successful play rate. And the actual formation was empty. So, so base 0 personnel. And their only 2 explosive plays came out of 0 and 10, which kind of makes sense, folks. That's what Alabama diced us up on in that last drive there as well, last week in DKR. So, folks, that is pretty much what I want to share with you guys today. Basically when it just comes to what happened during the game here, Texas versus UTSA. Very good game, man. I'm excited to see what Texas did this game. It was one of those bounce back games. Talking to my friends from that other podcast, the Horns Down podcast. I hate to say that out loud, but Chris and Seth, we talked about this earlier, and we're talking during the game as well. Me, those 2 guys, and Steven, about just, is this a trap game? And it was a trap game because we knew Jeff Traylor was going to come in here and play. He was going to come in and play. And he did a great job of game planning. And Texas just came out a little bit on top, and they won the game by 21 points, and they covered. One thing I do want to bring up, 3 games in a row that PK has coached here in this season, 20 points or less. And he said he wanted to do that last year. His goal was 20 points or less in every game during the season. For the first 3 games, against ULM, against Alabama, and now against Conference USA champs, UTSA, 20 points or less. Kudos to Coach PK. Salute you, brother. Great job by the defense. Good to see Jalen Ford had 2 really good games as well. Hopefully we can get DeMarvin Overshawn freed out of, being suspended here for the first half, because that was not a targeting call. He can't help that he's 4 inches taller than the quarterback. He didn't spear with the crown of his helmet. It was face mask to face mask because he tackled with his head up. It's what you're taught to do. It's a bang bang play. So free DeMarvin Overshawn, free Overshawn. Let him play against Texas Tech in the first half. But kudos to the offensive line. The pass protection was outstanding. Hudson Card had a lot of time to pass the ball. Outstanding pass protection. The run blocking is getting there. They're starting to get better, but that pass protection, which is what I was worried about, is amazing. And that is kudos to those 2 freshmen that are playing, Kelvin Banks Jr., Cole Hudson. Hayden Connor's playing well as well. So is Jake Majors, and also, man, Christian Jones, man. If you're not a believer in Cal Flood, then go watch Christian Jones from Cal Flood's first year and the second year, and just see the night and day difference in the player. You can tell what a guy like Cal Flood has instilled in him. And we started to see that at the end of last year with other players like Atopi Amadi and other players. Just a little bit of time, and he's able to turn this offensive line to be not just a serviceable unit, but a good unit here in the Big 12, and a good unit that's going to, hopefully get us some good plays here in the SEC in the next couple years. But on that note, folks, man, thanks for tuning in. Just a quick game recap: Texas versus UTSA. Horns win 41-20. Good game. Bijan, great game. Rojo, great game. Hudson Card is still so gritty, man. I love to see him play. He's doing some great things. And the offensive line, kudos to the line. Kudos to the linebackers, Jalen Ford, Overshawn, free Overshawn, and our defensive backs, man, played awesome. So did our defensive line. Just a good team effort. Good game of adjustments here for Texas in that second half to basically shut out the Roadrunners 24-3 in that second half, and to basically take over the game and win that thing, just going forward. Next battle, folks, is Texas Tech. It's going to be a really good game. I might try to do a preview of Texas Tech just to kind of show you guys what they've been up to here over the past 3 games. But on that note, folks, man, I mean, this podcast, like I end it all the time. Do you? Don't be afraid to fail. Outgrow your environment. Understand your brilliance. NinosCorner. I'm out. Hook 'em.